Hello and welcome to what is this? Week 7
7
of
or
the
8.
week 7 of the Life in Quarantine podcast. My name is Nick,
I'm Ian.
and from the way it sounds, we should be out of quarantine here in the next couple of weeks. I'm hoping, at least here in Michigan. Some of the other states have kind of already opened up, but
Still premature, but sure.
I mean, at some point you got to start doing something. I mean,
Right.
Because the whole idea of the stay-at-home order wasn't really to stay at home until everything was gone.
Yeah.
It was kind of just make sure we weren't flooding the hospitals and given time to really have a real test in place, because we
but
wasted.
They don't.
Well, there is now.
Yeah. It's still not enough. They got to be able to test and trace everybody rather than just a handful of people.
We have the capability of testing just about everybody now.
It's not what I've been hearing, but okay.
I mean, at the hospital,
it doesn't matter to me.
At the hospital we work at, we're testing everyone.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know why it'd be any different anywhere else. As far as I understand, all the other hospitals, at least in southeastern Michigan, are testing just about everyone.
Yeah.
And you're able to go to any Michigan urgent care now and pay, was it $25 to get tested now also. So, I mean, I don't think that the testing capabilities are definitely a lot further ahead than what they were 2 months ago.
Right.
So at least we're there. But, the United States on a federal level, I think, and it's not, I think, they definitely kind of dropped the ball because they waited 2 months before actually starting to act on any of this stuff and actually getting any of this stuff ready. So, I mean, had we in the beginning when health officials were saying this was going to be an issue and we were going to have an issue here in this country with it, had they started then with the testing process and getting all their ducks in order, I think we'd be even further ahead. And a lot of states like Michigan that extended the stay-at-home order probably wouldn't have had to do that.
Right.
But
I still think we're going to get a surge because of this.
We will, and that's why. Like, I was talking to Mandy earlier today, and Jack, because I guess Jack wanted to go hang out with some of his friends a day or two ago, and I told Mandy, I said we at least need to wait until the end of the month, wait till the stay-at-home order and everything is lifted. And I told Mandy I would still wait past then. I mean, maybe not so much to like go out in public places with friends, but at least for him to go to friends' houses and things like that. Wait a solid 2 weeks after the stay-at-home order has been lifted to kind of see if there is going to be any kind of huge spike in cases, or there's a pediatric inflammatory disease that's going around that we really don't know a whole lot about at this point. It seems pretty rare. Last time I looked, I want to say there was only like 17 cases of it in Michigan.
Yeah, but it's spreading.
But we don't know what that correlation is with COVID. There's a lot of things we don't know at this point. So hopefully, like I said, we're gonna wait until the stay-at-home order's done, and then probably wait for a period of time after that to kind of see where everything is going before we kind of resume normal activities with friends and things like that.
Yeah, that sounds fair. I mean, I don't do anything anyway. This is the most socializing I do in a while, pretty much, other than just when I'm at work. Talking to people at work.
I go to work to socialize.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. And even that, it's still not, we're there to work.
Are we?
Yeah, well, all right. I'm there to work. You do what you want, but I'm there to work.
I always do what I want.
Yeah. Because I like I like my job as though in the sense that I have a job.
Hold a second. I like my job too.
You like the social aspect of your job.
I like the job aspect of my job too, but
do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Hey, you don't have to convince me.
There's a lot of days I feel like I'm like robbing them blind because I'm like, yeah, you guys are actually paying me to sit here and do this?
Yeah.
I don't think we've got the hardest job on earth, obviously.
No. But there are some aspects of it that I really don't like. I have to be honest.
I think you always have though with any given job, though. I think.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I feel like we're paid pretty decent for what we do, though.
Oh yeah, our compensation's pretty good.
I did want to say that so Mandy and I did venture out today with the kids, and we went to Bill's Hot Dogs in Ipsy.
Yeah.
And I did manage to buy a whole gallon of their famous root beer, so that's what I'm drinking right now. Is the best root beer on the planet.
Okay. Never had it.
No?
No.
Have you ever you've eaten at Bill's Hot Dogs before,
Nope.
though, haven't you?
Nope.
That's terrible, Ian. That's
I don't know what to tell you.
That's a travesty, man.
Sorry.
You've lived in Ipsy long enough.
Yeah, but it's just never come up when I've been around, so I'm not going to go by myself.
Actually, no, that's not true. Actually, I'm pretty sure you have eaten there before.
No.
Because I know Mandy and I used to get Bill's Hot Dogs when you lived with us.
You went without me, probably when I was at work.
No. We brought it home. We brought it home and ate it at the house.
I've never had those hot dogs.
I'm almost 100% sure you have.
Oh well, I know what I've eaten, and I haven't had it, so I would probably know slightly better than you for the most part. I could be wrong on that. Nick, what did I have for dinner tonight?
I will say that was like almost 20 years ago. So
fair enough.
Keep that in mind.
I think I would remember. I only had that that street hot dog in Windsor one time, or maybe twice, but I'll never forget those.
Oh man, we used to get those all the time. Those were great hot dogs. I don't know if they were really great hot dogs, or the fact that we were just drunk. they're good hot dogs when you're drunk.
See, I was driving, so I was way less drunk than everybody else, and I still enjoyed them.
That's true. So, there's something about that like steamed hot dog though. It's yeah, it's great. You can't beat it. It's like same thing with like going to Comerica Park, going to a baseball game and getting that's what I kind of miss is going sitting there and eating a hot dog and drinking a Pepsi because I'm too damn cheap to buy freaking beer at the baseball games.
It's not cheap. It's called poverty because no one can afford those fucking beers.
Last time I went, if you wanted like a good beer, I want to say it was like $12 a cup.
Yeah. And their cups aren't much bigger than this. I mean, it's just like, it's a solo cup, basically.
I know. So on to our topic, we do kind of have a topic today, and it's one that we've talked about apparently several times. Because I was actually looking over our list, and we're going to talk about conspiracies. It's something that I think we both enjoy talking about, and
they're fun, and it's lighthearted, and we need a little lighthearted in the world these days.
And it's something that I don't think really either of us really believe in.
Oh, I believe it all.
Really?
Every conspiracy.
You're a flat earther? You're a flat earther?
Yes. I'm a flat earther. I'm a glober. Because apparently believing the earth is round is a conspiracy too. So
I know that.
So I just believe them all.
I guess really there's only a couple. There's like a couple of presidential conspiracies that I kind of buy into. Outside of that, though, I don't really. Conspiracies, I think, are one. It's something that it's not impossible to pull off, but conspiracies on the level that we're going to talk about would require literally like thousands of people to all be in on a conspiracy.
Some of the ones that I have aren't,
and then none of them talk about it.
Right. Well, that's the thing. You get all these grandiose conspiracy theories, and they're supposedly being unearthed by Joe Blow in his garage.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck? It's not going to happen. It's just not that's I don't know. There just can't be any truth in it if that's who's figuring it out.
So if you didn't want to, if you're listening to the show and you want to go back and check out some of our other episodes, episode 33, we did crazy conspiracies from the internet, and I think that's where we kind of talked about a lot of different things. I think that's where I talked about the
hollow Earth.
The Earth being hollow, which is one of my favorite ones.
Right.
Really, the hollow Earth one is great. I talk about it all the time.
Yeah. Well, when I was doing my research, I came across that one again. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, the hollow Earth. That was episode 33, which crazy to think about. That was almost 100 episodes ago. Right. Episode 47 was the first time we dedicated an entire show to flat earthers.
Mm-hmm. We're going to have to do that again, by the way.
I know. Episode 64 was titled WTF Flat Earthers. So that was another Flat Earthers episode. Episode 71, we did presidential conspiracies. which is
Okay.
something I enjoyed talking about.
Yeah.
And then we did episode 80, which was the last time we talked about conspiracies, which all were the 9/11 conspiracies.
Okay.
So if you're into conspiracies and you like this kind of stuff, go back and check out those 6
Yeah.
episodes.
What the hell? Check out all 140 whatever episodes we've done.
This is our 123rd episode
Okay.
of Life in General. We did a couple other podcasts
shows,
that we did on the side for short periods of time, limited runs. How about that? We did limited releases.
Yeah, special releases.
Yeah. Especially Ian's show that only lasted 3 episodes.
Yeah, because I'm revamping it, but I think I know what I'm doing now. I think I got a plan. Yeah.
I think you've had a plan for like 2 years, man.
No, I go back and forth, but I really didn't know what I wanted to do with it. So
yeah,
I think I know what I want to do with it now.
We have some other stuff in the works too. We've kind of kicked around the idea. I don't want to say too much about it, but we kind of kicked around the idea of doing a YouTube show, like a separate YouTube show also, which which I never really, I don't know, I kind of was on the fence about for a long time because Ian, I know you've talked about it really since we started doing this show.
Right.
3.5 years ago, almost. And it wasn't really until I came across Zoom and saw how really easy it would be to put a video together with with the limited technology that we even have right here. So it wasn't really until then that I was like, well, shit, maybe we could do something with that.
Yeah. And, just for fun and have, as much as fun as this is to do, it can get tedious after a while just doing the same thing. You kind of want to, even if it's something that we only do once in a while, at least it's different and keeps things interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know if it would be, if we end up doing a YouTube channel, I don't know if it would be anything like really regular and what it would even really entail at this point. We haven't really talked about it a whole lot.
Just a little bit.
Just an idea we've been kicking around. But yeah, well, hopefully I don't know, maybe in the future we'll do something like that and kind of branch out a little bit. And I was never into like video editing or anything like that. I did the audio side of it. So
right. Well, then you realize that I've been doing the video editing and it looks okay. So if I can do it, you can do it. Anybody can do it.
Yeah, and apparently I've got a really nice program on my computer to edit video with.
Yeah.
Who would have thunk?
Right. So.
But
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so we got some stuff we're working on. But back to conspiracies. I know that there's several flat Earth conferences or conventions that are held every year. I know there was one I think we talked about it before. There's one in Colorado last year, like in the early fall, late summer, early fall, and then in November of last year there was a big one in Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
And apparently it was a big hit, and it was actually the same area that Alien Con, which Alien Con isn't a conspiracy thing. It's just like alien believers, like people dressed up like aliens. It's like Comic-Con but for alien believers. So that was all kind of
UFOs people.
Yeah. So that was all. It was all kind of held in the same area, both those conferences. But there was, not only were there a big gathering of some of the best, I'm going to use air quotes for people listening on the audio version, the best known flat earthers were at this conference, right? All the big names in the flat earth community.
Right.
We're all there.
Minus the guy who killed himself in the rocket trying to prove it.
Touche. I forgot about that guy, that chucklehead.
Yeah.
That's called Darwinism. But and so they had all the best known people there, but apparently it drew in quite a few open racists, because there was yeah, I know, there was there was at least 4 or 5 reports from people, because I know that Jimmy Fallon sent a guy in, like not like undercover, but it's basically what
like
it was.
An interviewer.
He I guess I don't know if it was at this convention or one of the other conventions last year. Jimmy Fallon kind of sent a guy in to go talk to these people and things like that. So there was other reports. There was at least 4 or 5 reports that I saw where apparently the N-word was thrown around, like with almost shocking regularity. So apparently there's a lot of open racists that go to these things also, which is something I didn't know, but I guess if you're crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say once you kind of realize the type of people, generally speaking, that are flat earthers, it doesn't really surprise you that much. When you watch as many YouTube videos that I have of flat earthers, you start to see a pattern. Not to say that African Americans aren't among them, because they are.
They are.
Yeah, but they make up a much smaller portion. And when you see the white guys, it's typically white men who do these videos. You start you like I said, you see a pattern of personality.
I bet.
Yeah. So
did you have any updates about the? I know you said there were some new models and stuff they were working on.
Yeah, because when that's what I was telling you, it was a new model. It may not be a new model, but it's a new one for me.
Yeah.
But the basic flat Earth model that this one guy has is, the flat Earth, and Antarctica isn't a continent. It is the entire ice wall around the planet.
Which I've seen that. I've seen
those others, but it was showing how the sun and the moon revolve around. Well, revolve is a loose term technically.
They just go around the edge.
Yeah, and I'm watching this and I'm thinking, how do you explain the seasons then?
Yeah.
And they gave this, I can't even remember it because it was so incoherent, but their explanation for the seasons was crazy. About like spinning and then wobbling. I don't even.
The one I saw was like more about the elevation of, the sun rotates around the top of the flat Earth, but not only does it rotate this way, it actually goes up and down also.
That's kind of how they explained it. But
the closeness of the sun regulates the season.
But they never explained how the phases of the moon works, because the sun and the moon were parallel at all times.
Yeah.
So it didn't explain the moon phases at all.
Wait a second, Ian. Are you saying that there's holes in their ideas? What the hell? That's unbelievable.
Just a few, just a few little holes. I'm sure their scientific minds are hard at work trying to figure out.
I'm seeing plot holes here, man. Plot holes all over.
Well, I mean, that's what it is. It is plot holes, because only a science fiction writer could come up with some of the shit that they come up with. But a science fiction writer would do it better. I mean, that's the only thing that's different. So, but yeah, I didn't even put that in my list, because once I started reading, I think the model is actually an older model, but it's just the video I was watching was new.
Because that model, I think, was around. So I know in one of the episodes we talked about this last year, we were talking about the Flat Earth cruise that was supposed to go on this fall, which, by the way, I looked all over the internet. I couldn't find whether or not it's still going on or not.
Right.
But there's a bunch of flat earthers that were putting a cruise together, and they were going to take a cruise ship to the ice wall.
Right. To
prove the ice wall exists.
Well, see, here's the thing. You if they take a ship to, say, Antarctica, which we know exists, and they see a big wall of ice, because, I mean, there's the glaciers. I mean, it's essentially the big glaciers. They're going to say that's the ice wall, but to truly prove it, they would have to circumnavigate the entirety of the wall to prove that it's there.
Yeah, I know.
And they can't do that.
No, they can't do that.
So, I mean, if you
Ian,
can't prove something, it doesn't make it true. It doesn't make it false.
It's called mental gymnastics, man.
It's called cognitive dissonance to me.
Yeah.
But
mental gymnastics, it's the same thing. But it's
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead and talk.
I was gonna say, I do have one little extra little conspiracy theory that I came across at the last minute. So I haven't done too much research on it. But there's actually a conspiracy theory that
neither have they. So
that's true. But there's actually a conspiracy theory that Australia doesn't exist. That it was made up.
How is that?
It was made up by the British, because instead of shipping all their criminals to Australia like they said they were doing to be humane, they were actually just killing them all off. But they had to make something up. So, it's kind of like your kid's dog dies, and you're like, well, we took him to a farm so he could live out his happy, that kind of a thing. But there's no farm. You know what I mean?
Australia is the farm.
Australia is the imaginary farm.
That's really interesting. But how do you? I don't know. How do you explain all the people that are in Australia?
I don't know. That's like I said, I didn't get a chance to really dig too deep into it.
That's interesting.
There is a video, and I saw the video, like it popped up in my feed as I was doing my research and stuff, and I didn't get a chance to watch it. So, but it's the video is Australia is fake or fake news or something. It was a catchy little title.
That's interesting.
Title. So it was like, I'll mention it, but I don't really have much to go on with it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't explain. There's a lot of things that you can't. I mean.
Yeah, that's kind of a strange one, but I think it's really interesting though if you read, a lot of these quote unquote reports.
Yeah.
And watch all these videos on YouTube for people who claim to know the truth, because they've done. I love it too because they're like, I know because I've done research.
Yeah.
I'm putting research in air quotes, but what they don't tell you is their research really consists of nothing but watching videos by other freaking crackpot believers. Ian, where'd you go? You froze up on me, man.
Of other YouTube that aren't providing. Can you hear me?
There you are. You unfroze now.
I could hear you the whole time. All I was doing.
You're taking like a really long pour.
Yeah. Well, it was a long pour because I topped my drink.
Yeah. So that's all their research is, though. It's like, oh no, you got to believe me, man. This is true because I've done research. There's this one guy in this one corner of the world that does all these videos, and trust me, he knows what he's talking about. So that's how I know it's real.
Right.
That's basically what their argument is.
Yeah. I don't know where. Well, I mean, you see that with everything. I mean,
yeah,
politics and religion and I think I don't know if it's the human inability to do the legwork or the misunderstanding, the lack of education in terms of what research is, what true research is, and skepticism is not taught. It should. I think skepticism should actually be a class taught in school, but it's not. We're not taught to actually question anything.
Yeah.
To the extent that you eliminate as much falseness, so that you're only believing as much truthfulness as you can. Mm-hmm. Which is the essence of true skepticism, and I don't think it's taught. So that's part of the problem. But I think it also has to do with, and this is the lighter side of it. Humans, we're pattern-seeking animals. We need answers. We crave the answers to our questions.
Yeah.
And as a result of some of those other things I mentioned, sometimes the easiest answer.
Oh, really? Ian, you're freezing up on me again, man.
You just grab onto. It works.
There you go. No, hold on, you're coming back in. There you go.
You froze up on me. I was still moving on my end.
No, you froze up on my end, man.
And I could still hear you, so my internet connection's fine.
What were you saying again?
What was the last thing you heard me say?
I don't know.
So nothing. Up. You heard nothing.
You froze up for like 10 seconds there. What was the point you were making?
Just that we're pattern-seeking animals.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah, that was the last thing I said.
Okay. It was interesting though that I guess I shouldn't be surprised by it because flat earthers, I guess conspiracy believers in general, really kind of latch on to, I guess, because once you make that connection and to believing one conspiracy, it's not much of a leap to believe another conspiracy and another conspiracy. So these guys that generally think of one thing, like if you're a flat earther, generally you're also a gravity denier, or
you almost have to be because the science, doesn't work.
So it's really easy for them to kind of grasp on other things. So another thing I've been reading about in the last, I don't know, I probably within the last 3 or 4 weeks where I've been kind of looking at different things, and I've noticed that a lot of the blogs and stuff that I see or that I check out from flat earthers have moved on from flat earth to COVID conspiracies, which I guess with everything going on in the world, it's a easy topic to pick on.
Right.
And my favorite one, which it's almost as unbelievable as flat earth, is the fact that it's what I call, or what they call the the 5G conspiracy.
Yeah.
And there seems to be really kind of like two main conspiracies making the rounds about this topic. And that is that the whole thing is a hoax, and that and no one's really gotten sick or died from the new illness, right? It's just it's just the whole thing is just a hoax. And then the other thing is, so that's one conspiracy going around. The other conspiracy that's kind of going around with the flat earthers is that people are getting sick, but it's not from coronavirus. It's actually from the 5G networks.
Right.
Which is really interesting because, I mean, it's really easy to prove that a virus can't travel through mobile networks, right?
Well, I would say it should be relatively easy to understand that radio waves do not transmit viruses. I mean, that's just that they don't. And 5G, what they don't understand is it just means fifth generation networking. And yes, the signal amplitude is pushed
different.
up to 300 hertz or something like that,
which is still a low frequency.
Right. I mean, it's high if the power's behind it, but there's no power to it.
Yeah.
You know, because you figure your microwave is doing the same thing, but it's just doing it at a much higher wattage. The wattage you're getting from a 5G tower is not high enough to do any damage to anything at all.
No, yeah, you're right. So the electromagnetic field is very wide. There's lots of different, frequencies. And what you're getting from 5G is on the low end of the spectrum, right? If you go on to the higher end, like the ionizing radiation waves, that can actually kill you. There are ways that
5G is working on the higher on the more ionizing.
It is it's not. It's actually it's a low frequency wavelength, where the ionizing wavelengths are on the opposite end of the frequency spectrum, which those wavelengths can kill you. They can do damage to your body. But no, 5G is still considered a low frequency wave.
Well, I watched a video breaking down what 5G is, because I was going to mention it too for the show, but I actually forgot to put it in my notes. I swear it said that it was closer to the ionizing side of things, but because it didn't have the wattage, it couldn't do any damage anyway.
No.
But
no, it's a low
I don't
frequency.
understand. I don't understand that stuff anyway, to be honest with you. I mean, it's a little above my intellectual capabilities, but either way, it's not spreading viruses.
No.
It's not microwaving our insides. It's not giving us cancer any more than a normal cell phone could potentially give us cancer anyway. Because the jury's still kind of out on that one anyway. But leave it to the flat earthers to find just a progression of scientific knowledge or technological advancement to be, evil.
It's interesting though, because if you read the way they explain it, or the way the believers explain it, it's that the viruses are molecules that our cells produce and shed in battling infections. So COVID-19 virus supposedly is produced by humans, as they overcome damage due to the 5G network. The 5G network is also weakening your immune system. Do I sound crazy yet? Because I feel crazy just saying that.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. Obviously, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. So if the 5G network is causing our cells to create COVID, why were there COVID viruses in existence before cell phones?
I know that.
Before radio waves.
There's many different coronaviruses out there.
Yes.
Which is what COVID is.
Yes.
I mean, SARS is a coronavirus. I mean, COVID-19 is another form of.
Aren't there strains of flu that are just strictly corona or COVID type Viruses?
I don't know. Like I couldn't tell you. There's literally hundreds of different coronaviruses
Oh,
out
I'm
there.
sure. Probably thousands, actually.
Yeah.
And they mutate every year. They change. What was
Yeah.
COVID-19
Yes.
isn't
Yes
even
and
really
no.
COVID-19 now, really. I mean,
There's
it's
been eight.
mutating.
There's been 8 mutations that I know of
Right.
since the COVID-19 outbreak started in November of last year.
Late
Um,
November, early December, yeah.
but I mean, it's still relatively the same virus. It's just small. It's a slow evolving virus. See, the flu. The flu. That's why you've got to get a flu shot every year, because the rate that the flu virus
Mutates.
mutates, whereas the COVID-19 doesn't mutate that fast.
Right.
So
Lucky for us.
you're right, yeah, because we'd be really screwed. Because even if they are able to find a vaccine for it, you might not have to get a vaccine every year for COVID-19, but you might have to get one like every 2 years or every 3 years. You have to go in and get it.
Well, where we work, whenever it's out, we would be mandated to get it anyway. So.
Oh yeah, we would.
So, which is fine with me. I have no
Which
problem with vaccines.
I'll get to vaccines and vaccinations in a little bit also, because that's on.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I didn't. I kind of stuck with kind of I don't know. I was looking for unique things I hadn't heard before. So the few that I've got.
The reason I started looking into vaccinations is the protest. One of the first protests again in Michigan against the stay-at-home orders. I kept thinking, why the hell do people have Bill Gates posters?
Yeah.
So I found out. I will get to that, but I want to finish this 5G thing though. So,
okay.
So according to some of the other conspiracies out there, 5G is basically the next evolutionary step by governments of the world to control the citizens. It's just the next phase is basically what they said. So, like I said before, they're using it to degrade our immune system. Other parts of the conspiracy, like, because there's a whole bunch of different 5G conspiracies out there, and I'm trying to just kind of brush over a lot of them. So they're going about I don't know if you want to call it the New World Order or the Illuminati or whoever it is.
I've got a few of those.
Yeah, they're using a couple of different ways of using this 5G to kind of attack the people of the world and to steal their rights away from them, basically. But it's funny that the telecoms aren't. I guess the telecom companies would be in and on also, wouldn't they?
Well, arguably, the Illuminati controls everything anyway. All the corporations are controlled by the Illuminati. So that part, it just blends in with previous theories of Illuminati and interference. The thing that gets me with that, though, is how do you plan to control a population that you're killing off? Doesn't make any sense.
It's a good question. I don't know. And that's why I said there's
Illuminati. Its power comes from corporations, from owning everything. So if you're killing off your population, I can understand a smaller population is easier to control, but you still have to have people to work and consume in order for those corporations to maintain the strength and power. Because take North Korea, for example. You can have one person in control. You can have a dictatorship, but the rest of the people are starving. I mean, you're just basically playing with your own money. I mean, what are you doing? You're not doing anything. Kim Jong-un isn't doing anything, Just he has his little chunk, and it's like a little fiefdom, and so the Illuminati doesn't gain anything by doing this.
And that's what whenever I look at these conspiracy theories, that's the first thing I say to myself is, okay, if this is real, if X, Y, and Z are driven by the government, or it's driven by this or driven by that, what does that person, corporation, or entity or group gain?
Right. And are they gaining it at a rational cost ratio?
Yes.
They're not spending this much to get this much. Yeah. Because the idea is to reverse that.
Yeah.
If that's the case, and you can identify an actual benefit that makes sense, I guess it's a little easier to want to accept it, or at least accept it enough to look into it. but it's not there. It's just not there for this. Well, for most of them, but for this one, it's just not there. There's no. It just doesn't make any sense.
It's kind of interesting though. So one of the main organizers behind at least some of the bigger yearly conventions of the flat earthers, it's the Flat Earth International Conferences. So he's like one of the heads of that organization. He released a video basically discussing, or he's talking about how COVID is real. It should be taken seriously. Kind of goes against the grain with a lot of other flat earther videos out there talking about the subject. But so he kind of goes against all that. He's telling his people, believers, look, you need to take this seriously. People are dying. These are real threats. But there's a big caveat. And that is, he says that that COVID is also part of God's judgment on earth, and that we're now in the end times. So that's I thought that was kind of interesting. So at least at least he isn't denying that it's a threat.
He's just he's got the motive wrong on it, I guess.
The way I look at it is, look, the flat earthers, it's kind of funny and goofy, but no one's dying from it. These COVID conspiracies, people could die because absolutely.
of it. Well, and
believing the earth is flat isn't going to kill anyone. I mean, unless you try to fly up in the air
in a
homemade rocket,
in a steam powered rocket. It was steam powered.
That's great.
And he came
dumbass.
Well, he's dead.
I know that.
I don't like to speak ill of the dead, but
it's all right.
I see that more as a suicide than an accident.
Yeah.
So,
have you seen the video of it though?
No, I didn't know there was video of it.
Really? Oh yeah, because he had a videographer there filming the whole thing. And this, I mean, the rocket shoots up. And man, when that thing comes down, it comes down fast.
Oh, I bet.
Right into the ground. And he's like, oh yeah, he's dead. It's like, oh well, there you go.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen the video.
Yeah, check it out. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
What's one that, before I've got a bunch of COVID ones, man. If you want to go into something else.
Well, I just picked like 8 that stuck out for me. So one that I came across, and this is kind of a minor one because it's really not like a big conspiracy theory, but I just found it interesting. Truman Capote and Harper Lee grew up in the same small town.
Okay.
And because Truman Capote has written many books and is well known for his literary contributions to humanity, there's actually a conspiracy theory that he wrote To Kill a Mockingbird.
Really?
Yeah. I came across that. I was like, what? Okay. I never.
That's interesting. Yeah, I've never heard that one.
In my mind, I never connected the two. To be fair, I've only ever read To Kill a Mockingbird. I've never read any of Capote's stuff. But,
yeah.
And that's one of those ones that you can never really prove or disprove, I guess. This one I came across in a video, and then I came across it in the list I was looking at today. Have you heard anything about the Denver International Airport?
That there are like aliens that live in tunnels underneath the airport?
Well, there's that, but more importantly, it's on the surface of the airport. There's a very, I don't know, I guess you could call it evil-looking horse statue that it was erected outside of the airport. Okay. So like when people are coming in, and then there's a lot of artwork inside that's very like Megadeth album cover looking stuff.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a lot of people who believe, based on these violent murals, that actually have Nazi imagery in them. That the airport was built by neo-Nazis as a headquarters or a hub, international hub, for the Illuminati to funnel their stuff through, and all these demonic, evil, artistic things put up are to solidify the evil of the, whatever they're doing. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I haven't heard that one.
There's a video that shows pictures of the murals and stuff that are in the airport, and they are weird. They're weird pictures for
what you would see in an airport.
Yeah. Because there's one, it's like, I mean, you could look at it and say, all right, yeah, it's kind of like the Kansas mural where I forgot the general, but and it's not General Lee, but you got the Civil War mural basically, and it's like it's in the Kansas state capitol. Kind of would remind you of something like that, commemorating, and it's you got this like monstrous Nazi guy, and then it's really really weird.
Huh.
Some of these murals that are in there, but that I found that pretty fascinating. It made me want to go to the Denver International Airport. So
yeah, that's I've always liked to go. I've heard lots of great things about Colorado, but I haven't been out there before. But
right, I think I've been to the Denver International Airport because I think I had a layover there, but it was like a 30-minute layover.
Yeah, you didn't have time to go check out the Nazi symbolism,
right? Or the Illuminati devil worshipping horse statue outside.
Yeah.
Here's another little one that I found, and I wanted to run it by you because you would know. It's a sports one. I guess there's a conspiracy theory that the Colts quarterback threw the third Super Bowl to help out his coach, who had to put a $3 million bet down on it.
Yeah, I think I have heard something about that before, but I wouldn't believe any of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I figured I'd throw that one out there at you. There was another one about Patrick Ewing and his draft.
Yeah,
they had frozen the envelopes so the
NBA rigged the lottery that year, so the Knicks
so he would get picked by the
yeah.
Knicks. Yeah,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah. That's been going around since the early '80s.
And that Saved by the Bell was a brainwashing program for the Illuminati. Have you heard that?
No, because we've talked about Saved by the Bell conspiracies on here before. But.
The whole show was supposedly designed to brainwash children for the Illuminati, and the
brainwash them how?
Well, subliminal messages in the theme song, first of all, and there's all supposedly, like, if you look at photos and certain scenes, hand gestures, things like that they're making. There's a picture with I don't know what the black chick's name was.
Lisa?
In the show. Lisa, yeah. I really, my sister watched it.
I think that's what her name was.
But there's a picture where she's doing this, and it's supposed to be the 666.
Yeah, I've seen that one before.
Stuff like that. And they also cite Dustin Diamond's mental breakdown as part of how the cast was brainwashed in order to do it.
Or he's just fucking crazy.
Well, right. Child stars typically become crazy, just in general. But
I think he's one of the only characters that's not going to be on the reboot.
Oh, they're doing a reboot?
Yeah, it's actually supposed to be. I think it's going to be on. I don't know if it's going to be on. I think it's going to be on the Peacock network. And
didn't they already do a reboot called The New Class or something?
Oh no! This is going to have. I guess it's not really. I don't know. It's not really a reboot, but I guess it's a sequel. Yeah, I guess you could say. But so Zach is. Wait, which one is Zach? Is he?
He's the main guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he is now governor of California, and there's a budget shortage. So the way he goes about fixing the shortage is he combines a bunch of school districts. So he takes Bayside, which is a rich school district, and combines it with a poor school district. And then the other characters are intermingled. I don't know if they're working at the school. I don't know. I haven't really seen a whole lot about the show.
So you got the sassy poor people and the uppity rich people. Yes. And they all become friends in the end, right?
I who knows? I don't know. We'll see what it's like. I will watch it. I mean, because what the hell?
You do you, my friend. You do you. So
I just got done watching Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. I thought that was pretty decent. You, by the way, would fucking hate it because it's basically just a big musical.
Yeah, not big on musicals.
I know you're not, but it was really weird. It took me a couple episodes to get into it, but then wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
She has an MRI and then all of a sudden can hear everyone's thoughts, but their emotions are pop songs. So it was interesting. But trust me, it's something that Ian will never fucking watch.
This is about as excited as I'm going to get about it.
What else you got?
Let's see. This one I came across, but I can't remember if we actually talked about this one. We may have. but Saddam Hussein at a Stargate?
Yes.
Did we talk about that one?
Before.
Okay.
Yep.
I kind of thought so.
Yep.
You've heard the conspiracy theory that Paul McCartney died in 1966 and he was replaced by a lookalike?
Yeah, actually, we talked about that in the same episode we talked about the Saddam Hussein Stargate.
Well, there's another one that says that the entire group, the whole Beatles group, was just a revolving door of actors, lookalike actors.
We talked about that in episode 33 also.
Okay. And then have you heard about
Thank you for rehashing episode 33.
Yeah, it's okay. It's been a long time. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Georgia,
but you remember that you've never eaten a Bill's hot dogs, so
I do remember that. Hey, I'm a fat man. Fat men never forget what they eat. Trust me. The Georgia Guidestones.
What is that one?
It's a monument that was built. It's in Georgia, and it was built and paid for by an anonymous donor. And all this, it's got all these like inscriptions on it, and they're all different kinds of languages. I mean, normal languages, but they're all very different. But a lot of them seem to be like rules, kind of like a 10 Commandments kind of a thing.
Uh-huh.
But there's several of them that stand out because it seems like the conspiracy theory is that it was designed to basically be a new 10 Commandments for a post-apocalyptic human race.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought that one was very interesting. And then there's the hidden chamber in Mount Rushmore.
I have not heard about this one.
There's supposedly
I love hidden chambers though, so this will be interesting.
There's supposedly a hidden chamber behind Lincoln's head. And actually, I think there actually is a chamber. It's acknowledged that there is like a room there, but I think it was used for storage while they were carving the mountain.
I have heard that before. Yeah.
But the conspiracy theory is that the hidden chamber leads to tunnels and all that, and it's Illuminati. There's
like always,
right, but there's
Illuminati.
believed to be proof of alien existence, actual alien artifacts. Illuminati runs things from there. All kinds of different like secret documents and texts, ancient texts that humanity's really never seen and doesn't even know exists. Just makes me want to climb Mount Rushmore and find out what the fuck's back there. But
yeah,
I don't know.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
So apparently, since I found a bunch of ones that we already did, I didn't really do as much research as I thought I did. So. But I wrote it down. I have fucking notes.
Ian's got notes. He's got proof that he's got notes for once.
I do.
Hey, it's been a while since I've harassed you about. You can't, it's all just a big white blur.
There's
some words. There's some words. Yeah.
But you can see I actually did do some typing. So,
yeah. Hey, by the way, Ian, I forgot to ask you before we start recording. Did you like the password to get into the show today?
I didn't have to punch in a password.
It didn't ask you for a password?
No, I just click on the link.
Oh, well, fuck, man. The password to get into the show today was Ian Sucks 22.
Oh. Didn't even know. No, you send me the invite. It goes to my email.
You just click on it.
I click the link and it pops right up. So, guess it's really Nick who sucks 22, doesn't it?
Fuck you, asshole. So anyway, I want to kind of get back to some of these COVID ones real quick because I don't want to take too long talking about this stuff. But the Bill Gates thing. So Bill Gates kind of became a target for the COVID conspiracy people. Right around so earlier this year, he actually was right after the president said he was going to pull funding from the World Health Organization. So Bill Gates comes out and was rather vocal about the U.S. doing that. So he starts getting attacked from the conspiracy people. Right. And basically the way the conspiracy goes is Bill Gates gave a TED Talk back in 2015 where he was discussing the Ebola outbreak. And during this conversation, he warned of a potential of a bigger pandemic in the future. Didn't really give specifics, but he just said, look, we need to prepare for something on a bigger scale that could potentially happen here because we're not prepared for something like that to happen. And so the way the conspiracy goes is he either had foreknowledge that COVID pandemic was going to happen, and or that he may have intentionally caused the pandemic. Which is, but so that kind of goes back to what I always say. Okay, if he did, what would he gain from it?
Right.
Well, and that's kind of where it all kind of goes, is the pandemic for Bill Gates is a ploy to vaccinate the world's population, because he wants to use vaccinations to implant digital microchips in everyone that'll allow him or the New World Order or Illuminati, whoever you want to call them.
They're generally the same thing.
It would allow them to track and control people.
Because they can't already do that with our fucking cell phones.
I know that. But then you say, okay, well, how is that possible? Okay. So there's actually because a lot of these conspiracies all stem from some kernel of truth, right?
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
Or at least something that actually does exist. Yeah.
So the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, so they help fund projects all over the world in all different kind of sectors, right? So there is the foundation partly funds a very small nonprofit called ID 2020. Okay. This company, what they're trying to do is they're trying to establish digital IDs for poorer people around the world. Really easy thing. They're trying to get people identifications, right? So it's actually gotten to the point where ID 2020 has had to contact the FBI multiple times across the last couple of months because of death threats to people running the organization, because they think ID 2020 is a front for Bill Gates to use these vaccinations to implant chips. Very interesting, eh? So next time you see these rallies on the news and you see someone holding a big picture of Bill Gates, think about that, because that's what they're talking about. That, and I've seen pictures of Bill Gates and Dr. Fauci together also. And it's like, see, Dr. Fauci's in on it. Interesting, eh? No?
Yeah. Maybe COVID's the best thing that could have happened to this planet. And maybe we should just
wipe us all out.
Just let it take its course. Thin the herd. Improve the gene pool a little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
Because the gene pool's getting a little thin from the sounds of things. That's honestly, that's what makes it. Every time I hear some of these conspiracy theories and I see these protests and things, and the type of people that you see in these protests.
Oh yeah, they're interesting.
I get the sense that maybe it's time to really truly put Darwin to the test.
To the test.
And see exactly what could come from it, because we're not doing very good as a species right now. we're not producing the best thinkers or the most productive people. We're just not.
So the next conspiracy I have, it's still COVID related. At least this one, like on the surface, this one's at least plausible, and that is that COVID escaped from a Chinese lab. Okay,
that I've heard that one before.
Yeah, so it's actually been floated by the president at one of the COVID press conferences. I don't think it was last month or month before. There was a reporter in the crowd. He's like, hey, now there's multiple sources. Of course, all the multiple sources were all from one news entity. And it was, I don't remember what the name of the company is, but they're like they've got ties to the Falun Gong religious cult. They're kind of the ones that are, what's that?
Not familiar with that one.
Okay, so there's a news agency out there, like I said, that has got ties to this religious cult, that they're the ones that are kind of pushing this conspiracy. And it was a news reporter at the press conference asked President Trump about it, and Trump was like, yeah, it's all possible. We're looking at every different angle, and kind of gave validity to this conspiracy, that it was an institute in Wuhan. And that's kind of another piece that's true about this conspiracy. is there is a virology institute in Wuhan that has been working on bat coronaviruses for freaking over a decade, right?
Right.
They've been working on it for a long time. And because it's something that's been going on for decades, it's highly unlikely that a lab in existence for that long wouldn't have the safety checks in place to keep something like that from happening, right? You would think.
Theoretically, yeah.
Yeah, theoretically. If they've been working on this stuff for years and years, and nothing has happened, you would think, look, I'm sure they've got the safety checks in place. But it's been actually been proven, scientifically proven, that you know how much conspiracy people love science, right? It's been proven that genetically the COVID-19 virus is different from any of the other coronaviruses in this lab. So even though this is going around and it's gotten legs on Fox News and from the president and everything,
Right.
it's actually impossible. Unless, look, I guess you could say, oh, well, it is possible because the lab could have taken the viruses that this virus came from and destroyed them, which I guess is possible, right?
Right. Well, even there's even I don't know, I've mentioned them before, but there's this publication called Epic Times.
Yes, that's it. That's where this came from.
Yeah.
That's the
because for some reason, because I watch all the conspiracy videos, YouTube pops those ads for that paper in my feed all the time.
Yeah.
And the newest ad they have for it is this woman's cutting up vegetables and she looks over to her friend or whatever. It's the same guy who always does the Epic Times commercials. And she goes, "So did you hear China's blaming the US for the coronavirus?" He's like, "What?" For one, I've never heard anyone blame the US for the coronavirus. When did that ever fucking happen?
Yeah.
Second of all, he has this big list of how it breaks down the laboratory and blah blah blah. I generally skip it because it's garbage. As soon as that skip function comes up, I skip that. But so yeah, the Epic Times. I always wonder because every time I see that commercial for him, like I'm gonna, just because I try to be balanced. I want to see both sides of every story. So I was always like, I'm gonna check
them out. It's interesting.
Apparently, I don't want to now because it's obvious that
they're advertising on like YouTube and things like that because they have been banned from Twitter and Facebook. So they're no longer able to advertise on those platforms. So now they've gone to other places. Yeah. So if you really want to dig into it, so yeah, they're tied to it's the Falun Gong religious cult. So FALUNGONG.
Okay.
Look that up.
Yeah.
And they also Epic Times, which is EPOCH Times.
Right. Yeah.
What they don't call it COVID or coronavirus. They call it the CCP virus, which stands for Chinese Communist Party virus, is what they call it in all their publications.
You're right, because they use that Chinese Communist Party all the time.
Yeah.
Am I freezing up again? Because you froze up for a long time there, Amy. I don't know if you noticed that.
No, you were frozen there for a minute, but you're fine now. You just had a kind of weird look on your face while I was talking, but fucking, I just kept on talking.
I have a weird look on my face all the time.
I figured you could still hear me, so what the hell? So yeah, check that out. It's really interesting. But there's actually a more kind of sinister version of this conspiracy, and that is that COVID was created in that same lab, as a biological weapon. Yeah, and then kind of like accidentally came out.
And the funny thing is that on the surface, you would say, and this is myself included, on the surface, I saw the Epic Times as kind of just like a Fox News version of newspaper. So but it sounds that's worse, because Fox News will push some of this agenda, but it won't push it that far. Yeah. And when you put it in print, and the way their advertising is good, at least in the sense of, I obviously it's not geared for me because it's obviously Republican sided, but they do a good job of kind of making it sound like their journalism is well rounded, but obviously it's not.
It's not. It's
but
not
if
at all.
but if I was not, I wouldn't say I was convinced of that, but I didn't have any reason to question that.
Mm-hmm.
The people who would kind of be their target market are buying these newspapers. That's a lot of really bad information going out to some very suggestible people.
Especially when you got Fox News using them as a source.
Well, it'd be like them using InfoWars, which they have used InfoWars.
Which I'm going to get to them also.
Oh yeah. There's plenty of InfoWars.
I do want to say one last thing on this COVID biological weapon thing is that a U.S. Senator, Tom Cotton, Republican from Arkansas, has repeated in the Washington Examiner, which is a far-right newspaper, far-right media outlet. He has said in that publication multiple times that he believes that COVID-19 was created as a bioweapon.
Huh.
Yeah. Good job, Tom Cotton.
Well, it's I guess there's a reason why you don't have to take an intelligence test to become a politician.
That's very, very true.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's I don't know. There's a bunch of them out there though. Have you watched really any of these COVID ones though? No.
Not really. No.
So the next one I wanted to talk about was that the death rates are being inflated, right?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah. So there's multiple different ones on this. There's one that they're being inflated because hospitals are being paid more money for deaths and things like that, which is complete bullshit. But the one I kind of want to talk about, there's a doctor out in Montana. She goes by Dr. Annie, but it's Dr. Ann Bukasek, I think is how you say it. It's Bukacek.
Sounds like Bukasek to me.
She goes by Dr. Annie. So anyway, so she's got a video out that's got, when I first saw it, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 weeks back, it had over 500,000 views at that time. So God knows how many it's got now.
Mm-hmm.
But she gives a speech in this video about the death rates are being inflated, and that well, first off, let me go back a little bit. First off, she's giving this speech to, let me see if I got the name written on here, because I've got notes on the computer here. Unlike, well, I guess I can't give Ian shit. He actually has notes today.
That'll learn you.
First off, she calls it a medical coup, and that
coup against what?
So she said the numbers are being inflated as justification to take away the rights of citizens. So the states are making up these numbers, making up these deaths, inflating these deaths, to put these stay-at-home orders in place to steal the rights from citizens, right?
Okay, but
so
how have our rights even been taken away? We still have,
because Ian, you can't go out and get your fucking nails done. You can't go out and get your hair done. You couldn't go out and buy plants for a couple of weeks. Oh my God. We're fucking dying. We're fucking dying here. You know? But
I know I ordered some stuff from Amazon and I have Amazon Prime and it took 2 weeks to get my shit.
I know. Oh my God. Yeah, your rights are being taken away from you.
The government, man. The government.
But
I need to buy a gun, man.
So Dr. Annie, who first off is is
she a real doctor?
She is a real doctor. She's actually on the board of medicine in Montana, right?
Well, Montana.
Yeah, I know that's Montana. Who the fuck lives in Montana? But is there anything good that ever came from Montana? I don't think we have any. I don't think we have any plays in Montana, so I feel kind of okay bashing on the state, whatever. So anyway,
even if we did, they're not paying us.
That's true. That's true. So she is a very vocal anti-vaxxer, very vocal anti-abortion activist who actually once brought a bunch of tiny plastic fetuses into the Montana state legislature when they were discussing an abortion bill. So that kind of goes to the mind frame there, right?
Right.
So
she's a doctor who didn't actually pay any attention when she was actually studying medicine.
I know. So she it's like a 20-some minute. I don't remember how long it was. I watched it for a couple minutes, but I don't remember how it went on for a little bit though. So anyway, she's given this speech to the Liberty Fellowship, which is an anti-government, anti-globalism, far-right political church led by a pastor by the name. Okay,
I've heard of it.
It's led by a pastor named Chuck Baldwin, and it's just really interesting some of the bullshit she really tried to string together as because like you said, and what I've said before is, okay, if this is going on, if these numbers are being inflated, for what reason?
Right.
Okay, so they say because they're taking away rights. Okay, what rights are being taken away?
Right. Other than what she pointed out about getting your hair done and your nails done.
Yeah.
Buying fucking plants.
Yeah.
Because if they want to take away rights, what they do is they keep us at home and then shut off the fucking internet.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
limit the internet or limit bandwidth, because they did talk about limiting bandwidth, but I haven't noticed any other than when we're talking, we're getting all these freezing up because my internet's fine. I don't know why it's doing that, but
it's you've only froze up a couple of times on my end, so I don't know.
You froze up once, but it was a big chunk, so I'll have to wait and look at the video. But I think you were talking the whole time, so as long as your end recorded it, it won't even.
Yeah, it was fine on my end.
So
you're like, hey, you froze up, and I'm like, yeah, well, I've been fucking talking, so it doesn't matter. You're freezing up right now, but okay.
the whole you froze up now.
I think it's on your end, man, because you're like you're frozen in a pretty weird position right now. Are you still there, Ian? Oh, there you go. Now you're back, Ian. I'm recording now.
Okay. Yeah, just as we're talking about the government cutting the internet on us.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, it's the fucking conspiracy.
It's true. It's true. It's all true.
Hey, now hold on 1 second. Does that mean they're listening to the podcast before we put it out? That's bullshit.
Hey, the Illuminati has many talents.
Yeah. They're listening through they're probably listening through the power outlets in the walls, man. That's how they get in.
I have my cell phone next to me. I don't have an Alexa or Siri or any of that stuff, so I guess
I got a HomePod upstairs.
They're listening through my TV, I'm sure.
No, man, like I said, I think they're listening through the power outlets.
Oh. Okay.
They just tie right in.
Well, I'll tell you this. If they're listening at my house, they're just going to hear a lot of anti-Trump shit. In my house, a lot of anti-religion shit. And a lot of good music. So, I don't know.
But, yeah.
Anyway.
One more thing I wanted to say before we kind of move on is there was a report out came out a couple of days ago from the CDC. Came out from the CDC actually said that they believe that COVID deaths are actually being drastically underreported.
Yeah, I heard that too. They're saying that even though we're only at about 87,000 right now, they're saying we're at probably well over 100,000 already.
Yeah.
So
so this Dr. Annie, she was going on about how, well, if you have COVID, they're saying, but let's say you have COVID and then you end up having a heart attack. Oh, well, they're putting you down. That's how they're inflating the numbers, is because even though you died of a heart attack, you had COVID. So what she says, that shouldn't be counted as a death, even though it was the COVID and the reaction in the body that led to the strain on the heart that caused the heart attack. So it's COVID. It's still a COVID related death. It should go down as a COVID death, correct? Because if you didn't have COVID, you wouldn't have had that heart attack at that time. I mean, you might have still had a heart attack 6 months, a year, 5 years later.
Right.
But you died at this time because you had COVID.
Yeah. And what I understand of the virus, the damage it's doing to the lungs and basically the whole cardiovascular system is pretty deadly. Yes. Regardless, it's gonna put strain on your heart. It's gonna put strain on your blood flow. From what I hear, it's pretty aggressive.
Yeah. So it affects the alveoli in the lung. So there's poor oxygen transfer from the lung to the bloodstream.
Right. Which wouldn't that constrict the blood vessels and the arteries?
It does all sorts of shit to your body.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
so.
But
so
yes.
Something a medical doctor would know, right?
Yes.
Someone who's supposedly trained in medicine.
Me as a fucking nursing student knows that. So
right. me as someone who has no medical training whatsoever, other than I know how to put a Band-Aid on myself.
Yeah.
That's and take an aspirin. That I know that. But apparently this Dr. Annie doesn't get it.
So she does, but what she is saying is these COVID-related deaths should not be counted as COVID deaths, is what she's saying. That's how they're inflating the numbers.
Yeah. Well, logically speaking, if you look at a person and they wouldn't be in the hospital dying if they didn't have COVID, regardless of what actually kills them, it's safe to say they're dying from the COVID.
Yeah.
You know. So.
I've got one left, but
okay.
did you have any?
No, because like I said, apparently my
Ian's got a bunch of notes, but they're all notes from like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
But. Yeah. So basically, what that means is that I'm just on a delay.
Yeah, there you go.
My note taking is just on a delay. So at some point, I'm going to have notes for our Pink Floyd show.
Yeah, there you go.
We did 6 months ago.
2 months ago.
Whatever.
So lastly, the one I want to talk about last is one that ties into your boy, your favorite internet tycoon, Alex Jones. Right?
Oh. He's not. Don't do that. I have no love for that.
Oh, man. I thought you're a huge InfoWars fan, right?
You know, I was, but he hurt my feelings when he
hurt your feelings.
He hurt my feelings because he was very aggressive against the gay frogs.
Yeah, God. But so anyway, Alex Jones and InfoWars has been kind of pushing this conspiracy that COVID actually doesn't even really exist. It's not even a real thing. He says it's
sounds about par for the course.
Yeah. It's a plot by the globalist elite to take away our freedoms. So it still kind of goes back to the other one that we were just talking about. And if this is the case, why are there huge, because I'm like, okay, once again, kind of, okay, if this is real, why, and it is the globalist elite, they're using this as a ploy, and there is no death, then why are there huge spikes of COVID cases in these smaller, poorer countries that the globalist elite, put in quotation marks, would have no interest in,
Right. And why? And to be fair, I mean, it did essentially start in China, right?
Yeah.
And isn't China the enemy against the global elite, or are they together? I can't even.
Well,
keep
no, but that's what you have to think of. With this one, the virus didn't really start in China because there is no virus. It's all a lie.
Touche.
It's all a lie.
Again, though, I don't understand how making us stay in our houses and basically collapsing the economy. I don't understand how that helps anybody. Who does that help?
Nobody.
Exactly. So it doesn't make any sense.
I guess it helps the governments. Let me put my tinfoil hat on.
Put the tinfoil hat on. Yep.
So if you collapse the government, right, then that makes the citizens, so you're able to take away their rights and freedoms. You're basically locking them down, and then you're making them reliant on the federal government for survival, right? You take away everything from them. They're no longer allowed to work. You're not allowed to leave your house. You can't do the things you enjoy in your life. You're not allowed to able to see friends and family. You're fully reliant on the federal government for everything, right?
Right.
And that's how they control you. Did I sound crazy there also?
Yeah, because here's the problem. How can you be reliant on the federal government when it's so incompetent? People who
because that's a lie, man. It's not incompetent. They want you to believe that.
But they want right. But my point is that in order to be dependent on the government, you actually have to get something from the government. There are people who applied for unemployment at the end of March and still haven't gotten unemployment money.
I know.
So they're not dependent on the government. It doesn't work.
I'm not saying it's true. Let me take my tinfoil hat off. It's not true. It's not real.
Right.
You also have to remember that 2 months ago, it was InfoWars and Alex Jones that were pushing the thing that the line that coronavirus was no worse than the flu, right? They're pushing that theory.
But now it doesn't exist.
Well, now it doesn't exist. Well, now, yeah, because they can't say it's no worse than the flu after 85,000 Americans have died from it in less than 8 weeks.
Right.
You know?
Right. Have you heard about his gay frog conspiracy?
No. Please enlighten me.
Oh, okay. Well, so I do have one. Alex Jones, I don't know how long ago this was. This might have been when he was still on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
He was saying that there's this species of frogs in the U.S. that have all become homosexual. That's a fact.
Okay.
But he believes it's the government put a chemical in the water to turn them gay, and that they're going to use it on humans in order to control the population.
How do you control the population?
By reducing the population. Because if everyone's gay, they're not having babies.
Okay. I mean, I know gay people that have kids.
Right, but they're not. They're generally speaking, they're adopted. But don't ask me to find the logic in his thinking. But
it would take. You're talking about that's a hell of a long play there, right? I mean, that's a long game. You're playing a multi-decade long game.
Right. So
probably a century long game.
I swear to Christ, because I've only watched a couple of the videos, but there's one where he's even dressed up as a frog and he like pretends to cry because he's
shut
turned gay.
up.
It's funny as shit. But I think you could probably still find him on YouTube. I'm not sure if they took all his videos. That guy's a fucking
whack job.
But yeah, I'm telling you now, like I said, scientifically speaking, there is a species of frog that has become completely gay. But and they don't understand, the scientists haven't figured out exactly why. But he thinks it's chemicals from the government. They're putting it into the water, and he says they've already started putting it in humans, in our food and water to turn us gay. Yeah.
Gay frogs.
Yeah. If you get a second, maybe don't try YouTube because I know he was kicked off of YouTube, so they may have dropped all his videos.
Probably.
But just Google Alex Jones gay frogs.
Yeah.
And
see what comes up. I'll check it out.
Hilarious. Fucking hilarious.
I mean, that's all I got on that. It's there's tons of conspiracies out there. I love talking about conspiracies. Even though I don't believe in hardly any of them, it's interesting to see some of the the mental gymnastics that people go through to kind of connect, with all these crazy little things.
The extreme cognitive dissonance, the intellectual dishonesty, especially on the part of people who are supposed to be intellectuals, doctors. If you're trained as a medical doctor, yet you don't seem to understand how medicine really works, how biology works, those types of things. It's you're right. It's fascinating, and it would be even more fascinating and funny if it weren't so prevalent.
Yeah, very true.
If it was a small minority, and it is a minority, but it's becoming a slightly larger minority.
Yeah.
The number of flat earthers grows every year.
Every year.
And that's insanity.
I mean, yeah, it's I don't know. I'm sure it probably doesn't grow by much every year, but the fact that it grows is.
But the fact that it grows in the 21st century, that these people, I mean, this argument has been done and over with for 400 fucking years.
Maybe you should start a GoFundMe page for all of the flat earthers, so they can all build their own rockets, their own steam-powered rockets, Ian.
No, if I'm going to start a GoFundMe, it's going to be for my to fund my therapy that I'm going to need after reviewing all this, because it drives.
No.
I literally every time, seriously, as much as I enjoy it from a fun part, perspective, I legitimately think that exposing myself to these ideas is creating a tumor in my brain. I think it's a little tumor that's growing in my brain as a result of allowing some of these ideas in, even though they're being rejected naturally.
Yeah,
I think they're creating a tumor. It's a new conspiracy theory.
There you go. It's a new one.
Conspiracy theories are creating tumors. So,
but that's all I had, man. I mean, you had anything else to add?
No.
Well, we do have a new email address. So if you got any questions or comments, you can email us at contact@ligpodcast.us. So it's a little shorter. The one we had before was a little long-winded. Right. So this is a little short, a little more to the point. It
required you to type about 6 or 7 more letters. Yeah.
But on Twitter, we're at LIGpod. You can find us on Facebook, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube if you're watching us online.
Yeah, absolutely.
I said Spotify, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
And so if you watch us on YouTube,
thumbs up.
Give us a thumbs up.
Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button.
Leave comments, do whatever you want.
Leave comments, type in some information. Tell us what you think.
If you're listening to us on through Apple Podcasts or whatever, go ahead and give us a 5-star review.
6-star review.
5.
No.
5 stars, Ian. You belong in Denver with the the satanic
Nazi Illuminati's, yeah.
All right, man, that's all I got.
They're probably a fun bunch to party with. I always thought that was Satanists.
Are you trying to say that there's fine individuals on both sides, Ian?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying yes, there are nice Nazis. I'm sure of it. No, I'm not saying that. I am not saying that at all. To clarify, I am not saying that. If you are a Nazi, you are by definition not a nice person, period.
No. All right, man. Well, until next time.
Talk to y'all later.
Peace.
Play my role, let me tell you about it. This shit right here, man, I'm about it. Only real niggas reside around me. Yo, lady, drop a guard around me. Dip like I know you can, bitch. Show me the ropes like we in the ring. Got you took over if you wanna hang. Shoulder to shoulder, them niggas basic. You know I won't lie. You know that I ain't for that fuck shit. You niggas alright, but I'm way better and she love it. Know that y'all sick as fuck. Here go this tissue, bro. We taking the dub. Hoping you get you some. This hit like a pick me up. She taking my drugs. Know they see the sign. That's some dollar signs. Know they sick as fuck. Know they sick as fuck. Tell them get well soon. Tell them get well soon. Know you sick as fuck. Get well soon.
Oh shit. Watch out, you done called Billy. Oh shit. Right now, and I'm smiling in your face, bitch. With a gold smile, you should probably make placement to your eye. Niggas sick as fuck. Standing with niggas. Who down for that party? Who down for some bitches who showing their bodies? Swear to God, nigga, this Molly got me up and rolling. These bodies of water. Bring that shit in bottles. We mosh at the party, that hit when we stylin'.